Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today we are looking at premium defenders in FPL ahead of game week 1. Before we do that though, just want to plug the members area of Fantasy Football Scout. Some discounts going on over the summer, so do check those out. A lot of the information we're going to have in this video, and we've had in all our videos and podcasts, for example, the season ticker where you can sort the fixtures by difficulty, comparison tool data, heat maps, those types of things. And also crucially for me, something I enjoy doing is making my own tables. I do these frequently for these videos and podcasts, but I also think, yeah, they're great. You can just do them anyway. And they're really good if you want to find out, who the best players for particular teams are, best midfielders, best defenders, that kind of thing. Very, very useful. A bit of a game changer for me doing that as well. Also, just wanted to say, do check out a previous video I've done this week on bargain basement defenders. So right at the other end of the spectrum in terms of how much money you're going to be laying out for these players. So they're just priced at 4 million. There's lots of them. And there are also lots of 4.5 options as well. And there are lots of premium options. Lots of options. But the crucially about those cheaper options is if you do go for 1, 2, 3, maybe more premium defenders, you can move down. But if you go for those 4 million and 4.5 and you suddenly want some of the players that we're going to talk about in this video, it might be a bit more difficult. Okay, before we have a look at the table I've constructed of the best premium defenders, let's have a look at the season ticker. So this is sorted by difficulty for defense. Okay, so what this is looking at, so I've sorted this by fixture difficulty, and I've pressed the little button that says defense. So it's specifically for defenders, this season ticker here. And it shows a number of things which will help us choose whether we go for premium defenders, how many we go for, who will be the good options based on teams as well. Immediately, Liverpool are top, absolutely top of this in terms of defence for the first 6. It's first 6 fixtures. They got Ipswich away to start, then Brentford at home, Manchester United away. You never know what happens in that derby game. Nottingham Forest at home, Bournemouth at home, Wolves away. These are really, really strong fixtures, and it makes me think, God, I want a premium defender for Liverpool. And I say a premium defender ideally I'd like a cheap defender, but we don't know whether they're going to start. Will Bradley start? For example, we don't know. So Alexander-Arnold or Robertson are definitely on my radar. Van Dijk even as well could be an option. So further down this table, you can see that Newcastle, pretty good fixtures apart from a couple of games. They've got Tottenham at home in game week 3. I anticipate them winning that and scoring lots of goals, but they could concede. And Man City at home in game week 6. But apart from that, it's pretty rosy. Southampton at home, Bournemouth away in first 2, and then game week 4 they got Wolves away, Fulham away. So quite strong away fixtures as well. So the likes of Trippier could be an option there as well. Spurs, absolutely brilliant first 2. Leicester away, and then Everton at home. But then it drops off a cliff. So if you do go for a Spurs premium defensive pick, Porro will be the most likely one there. You need a backup plan because for game week 3, because Newcastle away, that's tough. Arsenal at home, that's tough for defence there. Brentford at home, I'd argue that's tough as well. And Manchester United away, tough as well for defenders. So first 2, great. Next 2, you probably need a plan. Or perhaps rotate them as well with someone else. I have noticed that Leif Davis at Ipswich. So if you look at Ipswich's fixtures, it's quite nice actually, because Davis is being really, really touted as a strong, the new Alfie Doughty, a strong cheap option there. Bench him, Liverpool and Man City. Then you can play him from game week 3 pretty much onwards, really. Could get clean sheets or attacking returns at any of those next fixtures for Ipswich, Fulham, Brighton, Southampton and Aston Villa. So that's another thing you need to consider with these premium defenders is, can you actually rotate them a little bit as well? I mean, ideally you want to play them most weeks though. And ideally, Porro, could get attacking returns in any of those tough fixtures from game week 3 onwards. Obviously to mention, Man City, they're quite low down here. They start with Chelsea, but they do have Ipswich, game week 2, West Ham, Brentford, the really nice block of 3, then Arsenal, Newcastle. So it's that block of 3 that the likes of Gvardiol will really come into their element there. And finally, not last, but certainly not least, although they are quite low down on this ticker in terms of early fixtures for defenders, Wolves. For starting off at home, brilliant for Arsenal, and then Aston Villa away. Brighton at home, they could concede in that one. Tottenham away, Man City away. I mean, that's awful. Game weeks 4 and 5, you're not going to want to be playing an Arsenal defender. And then Leicester at home in game week 6, so it picks up again as well. So if you do have an Arsenal defender, you want to look at perhaps transferring them out game week 4. You might also be looking to rotate them, or you might be wildcarding early. So if you're wildcarding early, Arsenal could be quite good. So if you can play them the first 3, hope for the best for Aston Villa in game week 2, then transfer them out and maybe look to get back in again. Okay, so they're the premium options really, but in terms of the teams, these are the expensive teams. All the other teams there do have options that are very good value for money. Lots of 4.5 options there. Okay, let's have a look at the table I've made. Okay, so this is a table I made on the best premium defenders based on last season's stats. What I've also included in here, so I've sorted this by team, so you can look at the best at Arsenal, best at Liverpool, best at Man City, best at Newcastle, best at Tottenham. But I've also added in 2 new metrics in the bonus point system. So these get added into the mix for calculating bonus points at the end of a match. So that's fouls won and shots on target. So I've sorted that by minutes per shots on target. So you can see if they're any good in that metric as well, because that will change. There's a -4 for every goal conceded. You would hope the benefit of going for premium defenders, they're in better teams, better defences, less likely to concede. So you won't get those -4 in the bonus point system. So they might get a bonus or 2. So I've also included their price, their starts as well last season, and also their minutes per expected goal involvement. For example, Saliba, that's really poor. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 1,362 minutes. That's really, very, very, very unlikely to get any goal involvement there. Trippier, however, every 290 minutes. Robertson at Liverpool every 271 minutes. Okay, so it just gives you an indication that whilst, none of them are absolutely amazing in terms of minutes per expected goal involvement, there are some that are much, much better than others. Okay, I'll go down this list then. I've also put in, just as a reminder, at the bottom of the screen there, for those listening on the podcast as well, I put the fixtures for the first 4. So, for example, that was said Newcastle, Southampton, Bournemouth, Tottenham, and Wolves are their first 4, and I'll keep mentioning them as we go through the teams. Okay, so we're looking at Arsenal first. They've got, just a reminder, they've got Wolves away, then Aston Villa, Brighton, Tottenham. So mixed bag, but good early fixture as well for their defenders. Those fixtures, to be honest, for me, they put me off their defence because I'm probably looking to wildcard in either 4 or 6. And I might do that later, say game week 7, because I think that's just after an international break. But on the whole, I don't think I'm going to get a lot from an Arsenal defender. Whilst I think they're, arguably one of the best defences in the Premier League, if not the best, I'm not sure I'm going to get clean sheets from that fixture run. Aston Villa, Tottenham, I'm not sure there. Anyway, if you were to, you've got to pay for it. Gabriel, 6 million. He is the best there for Arsenal in terms of minutes per shots on target, also minutes per expected goal involvement. His starts as well, pretty nailed on. Well, he was last season. And fouls won as well, 34. So that's very strong for that new metric in the bonus point system. If I was to get an Arsenal player, I would get Gabriel. I think he will start. I don't think there's going to be too many changes at the back. Calafiore has joined. Timber is now in the mix. Obviously, you've got Ben White there, and Ben White's the next player I'm going to mention, and Saliba. So there's lots of options there, but I don't think there's going to be too many changes. Ben White, reliable at right back, top scoring defender, I think, last season, 6.5, and that's what is reflected in there. Starts every 35 minutes. I owned him a lot last season. He was, I think we balked at him being 5.5 or 6. No, 5.5. It basically was 0.5 more than the other defenders, which he is again this time around. But he was worth it because he was getting that bonus. He was getting the odd assist. And whilst goals can be rare for the likes of Gabriel, and certainly for Saliba. So I think White could end up proving me wrong, but I just don't know if I'm going to get that value from him this time around. I don't think he got a couple of goals, I think, in a double game week, which probably bumped up his FPL points. But anyway, because his minutes per expected goal involvement is every 620 minutes. Minutes per shot on target every 497. With Gabriel is every 300 minutes there. So he's quite a low down. Saliba as well. Shots on target, goal involvement is minimal, very minimal. Fouls 1, minimal, 16. Ben White, 12. Gabriel, 34. Saliba is 6 million. I think Saliba is sort of reliable for those starts, but especially with the bonus point changes, which are going to favour attackers, I think he's going to be 6 points or 2 points, and that's it. White could be more because of the assist potential. Gabriel more because of that, and hugely more because of the scoring, his scoring potential as well. But a bit of a void for me early on, but certainly good. If you don't plan to wildcard early, I think they're good. Next up, Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold is top for here in terms of minutes per shots on target and in terms of minutes per expected goal involvement. So I think Liverpool's first fixture, just a reminder, Liverpool, they've got Ipswich away, Brentford at home, Manchester United away, Nottingham Forest at home. It's a fantastic run, and that continues through the first few fixtures as well after that. I'm very keen. I would love Robertson to be the player I want because he's only 6 million. Alexander-Arnold is 7 million, but that is down from the 8 million he was last time out. I think it was 8, or is it 8.5? But anyway, he's much less. So fouls 1-9, minutes per shots on target every 270 minutes. He could play at right back. He can be sort of inverted into midfield. He could start in midfield. We don't know. I'm recording this ahead of another friendly for Liverpool. We may know a bit more. I think he is back in training, or he's certainly back with Liverpool. I don't know whether he will actually get any minutes this so early, relatively early in pre-season for a player that was in a team in a major cup final during the summer. But yeah, I would like to see him a bit more. I'd like to know a bit more about where he's playing. He would be the one I'd be keen on if I didn't have Salah in my team. So if I didn't have Salah in my team, I'd really want Alexander-Arnold. I'm quite keen on having Haaland, despite this week we hear he had precaution really substituted because of an injury. But we anticipate he will start. But if Haaland and Salah is doable, Haaland and Salah and Alexander-Arnold, I don't think is doable. So it's Salah or Alexander-Arnold for me, and I think that's a decision many managers will make there. Robertson's next. I don't know about him. I get a sense, and a lot of commentators are saying with slot system, it's on the right, really. There's going to be a lot of movement attacking, and the guy on the other side, who will be Robertson, could be a bit further back. And we've certainly seen a bit of regression with Robertson as an FPL asset last few seasons, a bit more injuries. But nevertheless, minutes per shots on target, pretty strong, 287, just behind Alexander-Arnold. I remember, in seasons gone by, they were competing for the amount of assists they would get. They would actively, talk about that as well. Only 18 starts as well because of injury, but minutes per expected goal involvement every 271 minutes, just below Alexander-Arnold. Fouls 1 pretty low for him as well as Alexander-Arnold as well, but shots on target strong for the bonus points. Van Dijk I want to mention as well. He is a premium defender, traditionally been very good actually. A very good asset. Often he's very lowly owned amongst a lot of engaged managers. When you see him on teams on Twitter, you will not see Van Dijk there. But, a reliable starter. if they can keep a clean sheet, he could be in the bonus. Although fouls won just 13 last season is not too good. But minutes per shot on target, very strong actually, every 226 minutes, because he's a real weapon at set pieces. There, minutes per expected goal involvement though, every 823 minutes, which is considerably lower than Alexander-Arnold and Robertson there. But surety of starts. That's where you get surety of starts, the possibility of a goal, minutes, and of course I think he certainly during pre-season, pre-cup tournament for the Netherlands, he did. I think he scored once or twice there to sort of pique our interest in him. Different team, obviously, but nevertheless shows his potential there. Yeah, I'm very keen on Liverpool because of the fixtures, and it's all going to depend on whether I have Salah or not. If I don't go for Salah, it'll be Alexander-Arnold. I wouldn't rule out Van Dijk. Okay, let's look at Man City. Now, I've only put one player in here because the likes of Ake, Stones, etc., they get rotated so much, and also I just don't think as FPL assets they're as strong as a lot of these other players here. So I've only got Gvardiol here. He is back in training. He's back in pre-season. He's won 22 fouls, which is very strong, considering he had 26 starts. His minutes per shots on target every 179 minutes, and his minutes per expected goal involvement every 451 minutes, which isn't as strong as Alexander-Arnold's, but his shots on target certainly is. In fact, it's the best amongst all of these premium defenders. Gvardiol is the best in terms of shots on target. So I anticipate that if any premium defender is going to do well under the new bonus point system, it could potentially be Gvardiol. I think he got an assist in the game, Man City's game with Barcelona, that was for a goal that went over the line but was ruled out because they don't have the technology in that friendly game. So he's already getting attacking returns. I anticipate that continuing. He's been a mainstay in my team. I'm doing another team reveal video this week about any changes I might have made. But as a spoiler for that, Gvardiol is one of about 4 players that has never left. He's just non-negotiable for me. I just think he's very strong there. Fixture-wise, though, Chelsea opening fixture is not as good for a defender in terms of clean sheets. But then he's got Ipswich at home. West Ham away, could get a clean sheet there. Certainly attacking returns. Brentford at home, clean sheet could be. Certainly attacking returns. I like him. He's good. So for me, at the moment, I'm looking at Gvardiol and possibly a Liverpool premium defender, and that'd be it. I'm probably going to swerve Arsenal, and I'm probably going to swerve these premium assets for Newcastle. I have included Share at 5.5 just as an option, but Trippier's the one that's going to gain interest. He's all about creativity. Minutes per shots on target is absolutely woeful. Every 1,125 minutes. It's sort of Saliba level. But he's one of the best per minutes per expected goal involvement, and that is because of the assist potential he gives. He's 6 million. He's won 21 fouls and starts at 26. I don't know whether he's going to start. I don't know whether he's going to be at Newcastle. I know, there's always rumours. Well, not always, but the last year or so, there's been rumours that he'll move on. He may do, he may not. There just seems to be doubt there. There are options. Livramento as well. He's a year older. I mean, a lot of these other players are a year. Well, everyone's a year older, but a lot of these other players are a year older where it matters. And if you've got a player who relies on pace, I know it's different watching him with England, different setup, but he didn't impress me at all. For England, and he really didn't impress me for the last half of the season at Newcastle. There were some early games, I think the Sheffield United one, where he did really well. It was just constant stream of points and assists from him, but I just don't think we're going to get that from him. I'm just not sure. Nevertheless, the fixtures are quite strong for Newcastle. Southampton at home, Bournemouth, Tottenham and Wolves. It's only a Tottenham game where I think he could get 3 clean sheets there, but I think you might better get cheaper. They've just signed Kelly, who could play. Hall might play. Livramento could play instead of Trippier. Dan Burn as well could still get a start as well. And it would be really frustrating to spend 6 million on Trippier, get 6 points, not see him in the bonus as he was last season, and get Dan Burn get exactly the same. And I could have saved myself 1.5. So that's why I'm not interested. So it's similar with Share. He's been priced out of the game. Pure and simple. His minutes per shot on target is strong, though. It's also sort of just below the likes of Robertson, every 340 minutes. Minutes per expected goal involvement, every 765 minutes. So not that strong there. But nevertheless, an option. Starts most games. It's like 35, so he starts if he's not injured. Fouls 1, pretty strong, 26 there. So I kind of like him, but I think I'm just going to swerve Newcastle defence unless I get a definite on one of the cheaper ones playing. And the last player to mention is Porro at Tottenham. Currently, I've got him in my side, so I don't have a Liverpool premium defender. I've got Gvardiol. I've gone for Porro. Because I really like Porro. I mentioned it earlier about it's that fixture rotation I quite like. So his fixtures are looking at Spurs. They've got Leicester away, Everton at home. Great first 2. Then it got Newcastle and Arsenal, very poor. So you don't want to play him then. So you want to bench him or actually just transfer him out. Use that money. Go down to a 4 million, for example. You've got 1.5 to play with there. And that's what I quite like about him. And he does dovetail quite nicely with Davis at Ipswich, who's a player. I was a big fan of Alfie Doughty last season. I like those sorts of players that are relatively low owned, but not a lot of managers will go for them, compared to some of these premium assets, but could do really well and sort of, certainly outperform their price tag. So yeah, I mean, overall, looking at this, we've got, I think I've written the word in my notes here, moderation. And I always think that's a good key in forming a game week 1 side. Is moderation in terms of, so you get some people go, oh, go big at the back. I'll just get loads of premium defenders. Some people go, oh, I'm just going to go really, really cheap, get 3-4 million, because you can, 3-4 million starters and lots of 4.5 defenders. But I always think moderation in terms of both of those strategies are right. Both of them are wrong if you only go for them. I was having lots of chats on social media this week about things about analytics and whether you look at the eye test and all of these kinds of things. And there really is no one way. It's just using all of that information. So I think the way I'm going to start, and I would certainly recommend this, is have 1 or 2 premiums. Have 1 or 2 cheap players in there. You only got 5 slots anyway, and just have that, so then you can move away from them if you're wrong. So if I got Alexander Arnold in at 7 million and I'm wrong, I can easily move. I can get anyone else. But if I get loads of 4 million or 4.5 defenders, and it's one of these, Gvardiol scores and assists in his first game, well, and then he's got Ipswich next, and you don't own him, you're going to want him. So how are you going to get that? How are you going to get there, especially in one move? Into game week 2. So it's those kinds of things I'm looking at, really. I was thinking, I start off with the philosophy, I'm probably wrong. How can I run away from that awful decision? And I think it's better to be wrong about a premium defender you can run away from really easily. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the premium defenders. And there's a list there. I hope that's been of use. Just a reminder, do check out the members area at Fantasy Football Scout. This is where I made this table, and you can do the same as well. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care. See you soon.